let's continue on talking about UConn, because yes, UConn did beat Providence earlier today. They beat them pretty badly, but a continued issue for there's a continued issue for this team, and it's the fact that you have injuries. So Aaliyah Edwards was injured earlier today. She really hurt her nose in the game against Providence. It was like she took a forearm to the face and hurt her nose. She then left the game and then never came back. It was fine. It was fine because UConn did win that game. But this is troubling news for this UConn team because, she left with 6 minutes left to go in the third quarter. But they don't really have a bench, right? She didn't come back to the game, and we don't know if she's going to play tomorrow. We don't know that. Hopefully we find out pretty soon, but we do not know if Aaliyah Edwards is going to play. UConn does play tomorrow against in their semifinals. So, and also the championship game is also on Monday night. So it's going to be interesting. It is going to be very interesting. This team only had 8 players available today. All they had was 8 players. And with Aaliyah Edwards out, they were down to 7 players. This is not a good look for this UConn team. This is a team that is like severely depleted. They have more players in regular sweats, regular UConn sweats. They have more players in regular UConn sweats than they have players in actual players in actual uniforms. Right? This is not good. It seemed like she could have broken her nose. There's at least something really bad that happened to Aaliyah Edwards' nose. Aaliyah Edwards is a tough player. She has been a rock for this team for the last 2 years, right? You've had several players getting hurt. And Aaliyah Edwards has always been there. She's always been the player that has rocked out for this team and been available for this UConn team. And now with her getting hurt, possibly we don't know if she's going to be playing tomorrow. Hopefully she is, for UConn's sake. Hopefully she is, because again, they only had 8 players available today. Yes, they did get the dub, and yes, they likely can win the Big East with 7 players. But there's no room for error. There is no room for error when you have a situation like that where you don't have a bench at all. It's different if you have a bench and you just don't want to play them. But this team is just, they're just depleted. Like we've gone ad nauseum about all the injuries that UConn has had. So I am not going to go down. I'm not going to run down the list of all the players that have been injured for UConn this season. I did make a separate video about that, just sort of like chronicling all the players that have gotten hurt for this team, both from the summer on through here. And it's just, it doesn't look good. It doesn't look good for this team. But it is what it is. Injuries is a part of women's basketball. It's what happens. And we'll see what happens. We will see what happens. Also, guys, if you didn't know, KK Arnold got hurt as well. It didn't seem that bad. It was in the fourth quarter with not that many minutes left to go. It was either KK Arnold's knee or her thigh. And she had to get out of the game. It was like very, very late in the game where she kind of got hurt. It doesn't seem that big of an injury, I don't think. But this is a team that was so depleted that instead of being able to put in a player, instead of being able to put in another bench player, they had to put Nika Mühl in the game because they didn't have anybody to put in. And guys, that's tough sledding. That is tough sledding for this UConn team where KK Arnold gets hurt. Now you got to put in your starter for another starter because you don't have anybody. So this is rough. This is very, very rough for UConn. It's just, it's not great. It is not great at all.